Alrighty, out here today, going to be installing this Bulldozer solid state fencer. This is a 15-mile fencer. I definitely don't have 15 miles of fence, but you know, I only have one top line going along the perimeter to keep the horses off from pushing down my woven fence. This was from my grandpa. He passed away a couple months back and we were cleaning out his barn. He was a dairy farmer his whole life, and this is one of the things that I saw that kind of shined in my eye, and I'm like, yeah, heck, I'll go ahead and try using it here. So might be a little more powerful for the horses than they need, but it's going to be working and not cut out or anything like that. So what I'm basically doing, I kind of got the coated wire here, kind of ran it down along the barn here. I got to go out and dig a hole to run the wire to the outside to connect to the fence and run it up over here to get to that top wire here. And it's basically going to run up along these 2x4s here, run it down and connect the fencer here. So first things first, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple nails in here. And it's going to basically just rest right there, so it's nice and easy to plug in. And as you can see, it's working. Obviously I don't have the ground hooked up yet. I pulled the old ground rod from my solar fencer, sitting out here, pretty long, but you do need some good grounding to be able to, you know, provide a full charge to the fence. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug that because I don't want to shock myself. Been shocked by a fence many times in my life. Probably don't want to be shocked by this one. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep running this wire here, and I'll be back in a few and hopefully have her kind of laid out. I'm feeding, so obviously this is a 50 foot of this coated wire, and I'm gonna start it here. I'm gonna dig the hole so that way I know I'm gonna run it to the fence and know that this end I have enough. Then I'm gonna run the remainder back and then cut it over here so that way I know I have enough wire and I'm not having to do any splices like that or anything like that. So, but yeah, I'll be back in a few. As you can see on the other side of the barn here, I dug out underneath the siding here, and I have excess here to be able to tie into the fence. This coated wire is pretty hard to, you know, it's not real, it is bendy, but it kind of holds its shape, just like that. So it's kind of easy to bend it and work around certain corners and stuff like that to be able to grab what you need. I end up having just the perfect amount, but I kind of have it laid out so that way I know I have a little slack here, and can, you know, staple it to the posts outside here. And as far as inside, as you can see, I have it running up through the barn here. Like I was saying, followed the rib and the siding, running along that 2x4 around the post, and have it going right down over here. So I have some slack. I need to cut it to size, but what I'm going to do first is go ahead and throw some staples up in here to try to tighten it up the best I can. Really doesn't look that bad. I don't want it, you know, getting droopy and dropping or anything like that either. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw in some staples, and I'll get back in just a few. Got the best I could, a couple staples in there to hold it from flopping around. I got the outside here, you know, got it tightened up, and you can see my connection there. They sell, you know, from your regular farm stores, you know, clips to help you attach the wire to it, and they do work, but I've always just twisted it around and I've never had an issue. Does it look super professional? Probably not, but it works. So I have my fencer connection here hooked up. I just got to go ahead and get the ground, which I got the ground rod here, and there is a connection here. I got to get this thing drove into the ground at least a good couple feet. So you really rely on the grounding to be able to get much out of this fencer. It'll take me a little while to pound that in. And I apologize, I'm kind of bumping around a little bit. There's not a good place to set the camera in the barn and let it run, and probably be pretty boring just watching me pounding a couple nails here and there. So, as well as the ground rod. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this ground rod put in, hook up the connection for the ground rod, and we'll give her a test run. So I'll get that done and be back here again. I got the ground rod in all the way. That's in, I believe that's a 6-foot ground rod. It's a little bit more than a foot out. So I got at least almost about a good 5 feet underground to make some good ground connection. So I got the connections made there for the ground and the hot wire. I was just gonna use, the last wire I had an uncoated, because you really don't need it on the ground, but I had some extra. I think it looks a little cleaner with it being this coated. So I went ahead and did that. So as you can see, the flasher is going. And here's an age-old way. I got a voltmeter to be able to test, but here's an age-old way. Take a fork here. Oh, it's definitely working. Oh, hear that click? My guess is it's making contact on that weed over there. So that's one way you can know, I guess, for sure. Let's go ahead and take a look. I should have checked all that out ahead of time. And that's one thing I do need to do. This used to be a decent little path here. Need to cut back all this brush. Oh yeah. So it's making contact there on this branch. So you can hear that spark, or the spark there. Let's see what we got here. There. Have it off. Take a little bit more off here. This junk. Wild grapevine and shit. There, so it stopped. And I guess I'll run back now. Well, I was gonna say, if you got an old pitchfork, as long as it's got a coated handle, you can go ahead and use that to test it. It's obviously working, because starting over there, running all the way around, it was sparking there. So, but you can also do this. Set this fiberglass handle on the pitchfork, touch something that's grounding, so as you can see, it's working. So without a doubt, it's definitely fully electrified. And overall, it went pretty good. It's gonna sit there and keep clicking. That way you always know it's running. Yeah, so pretty easy install. Like I said, a little bit more labor intensive, just to be able to get the wire hung the way you want it and everything like that. But I still got to go ahead and cover up the cord out here where I dug. But other than that, I'm going to call it done. So, alrighty, thanks for watching.